Hello, I'm Brian C. Mears, and this is Beneath the Dot, a series where we're looking into some of my more complex artwork. This is a continuation of the work in progress that I'm doing for The Awakening version 2. This is what the original one looked like. Before I got to the original, I'd like to tell you a story. So back in 2014, my father was given a terminal diagnosis of cancer. It had been a long story to get him to that space, lots of trials and tribulations. And that piece doesn't apply to this portion of what I'm sharing. What does matter is that once we finally got that diagnosis, I realized I needed to listen to my own advice. I was working as an acupuncturist. There was a whole bunch of new information that was coming out on the benefits of actually coloring in these complex coloring books marketed towards adults that was good as meditation during the time period. So great. Dad's got terminal diagnosis. Got to work on my stuff. Got to get my mind wrapped around what the heck death looks like. So I decided to go get a coloring book. And as I'm standing in line with a coloring book and a handful of colored pencils, I realized I really never liked coloring. Kind of boring. Wasn't complex enough. I did, however, enjoy drawing. So I put all that information back, all those materials back, and I grabbed a pad of paper and a single pen that I actually stole from my eldest. And what was there came out as this. First drawing that I ever did as an adult, pen on paper, and created a nice little pretty topiary type thing, sort of bonsai-esque. Had all the elements in it, and then up in the upper right-hand corner, there's this empty set monk that showed up. Call it empty set because it's just the robes, and we don't know what's actually on the inside of it. Now, this piece specifically was inspired by Tibetan artwork, which is where I actually found the original models for most of the components that I put in here, and including the monk's robes that was just empty, sitting on its own, just in its space of being. So as I look at this piece, what's there for me is that I could see the outside world, but I hadn't developed enough on the inside world yet to be able to determine what was really there for me. Who am I? How do I need to show up? How am I getting through these next steps moving forward? So I drew that. And then I drew it again. Got a little bit closer to the monk's robes. Got a little bit closer to the empty set. Still making it pretty. Still trying to make it in this nice little container that held it beautifully. Okay? Closer. Drew it again. Oh, now we have vibrations. Now we have an expression. Now we're trying to get closer down into the earth underneath the tree's roots. Being able to be grounded in some sort of reality, but still looking to the outside world to define what was there. And then I discovered sacred geometry. I literally grabbed a coin and I made all of these circles to create all of these flowers of life, to create everything that was in the space, and tried to stick the monk in the middle. Still trying to control spiritualism, still trying to control the realms that my physical body couldn't pick up on. And that picture changed everything. Yeah, there's sacred geometry, but it didn't come through the way that I wanted to. So I took some time, learned how to draw some things, figured out texture and shading, working on volume, how do you create depth, all those type of things, and this piece came out of it. Yes, I zoomed out. Yes, the little monk is still up there in the upper right-hand corner, trying to figure out something about how it exists. Where does it fit into this surrealistic image that I was doing? Fascinated with water, that's where the wave came through. Certainly the tree, the water running down the tree, it was all just playing around with different elements. And then I dove in, and I created this piece about what may actually be underneath the robes, what's actually there in that space. Tried to take the outside world and define what's on the inside. You can actually see at the heart space on this one. There is, again, the robes, but there's DNA, and there's vibration, and there's movement that goes through this. After this piece, had a couple other pieces that I had put together, and then I finally dove into doing the original version of The Awakening. And you can see the empty set monk in there. It's doing what it's supposed to do, holding the space as the rest of the world is defined around it, but the difference was it was felt from the inside. It was something that was articulated from the internal view instead of from the external view. Still trying to figure out what's inside of those robes, still trying to figure out what the heck is going on a deeper and a deeper level. Now, this piece specifically was actually finished shortly after my father passed away, so he was never able to see it. And here we are, 10-ish years later, and I've drawn the empty set monk again. Now, I've drawn it other times during my artistic career. Did it once, the dragon, or the dragon monk is the name of the piece. The empty set monk transforming into a dragon, and that was a part of me starting to take the internal world and actually define what the external world needs to look like. And as we drove back into the Awakening, version 2, the monk comes up again. I haven't drawn it in a long time. It's been years and years. Got more into dragons, got into painting, got into sacred geometry, totally different expressions, but here, down at the core, it comes out again. So I recorded a little bit of this as a time lapse to be able to show you the empty set monk in its creation. In this expression, it's got light language that's going around it, it's turned into light, and eventually there will be a column of light that's coming up out of the center to be able to engage with the rest of the picture. I hope you enjoy the creation piece of this as far as the time-lapse version. And you'll join me next time to be able to experience more of the Awakening as it comes online, as it comes into a deeper expression of what I know to be true on the inside, and try to share that with everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I greatly appreciate your attendance. Please like and share, subscribe, do all the things we're supposed to do on YouTube. Because I have an artwork, and I'm grateful that I can share it with you, and I hope you can share it with others as well. Thank you so much, my friends. Be well. Until next time.